ADHD Babes, the podcast, a podcast hosted by the ADHD Babes community for the community. Please note, nothing mentioned during the podcast is meant as a diagnosis. If you believe you have ADHD, please seek professional advice and visit or join ADHDBabes.com for help with diagnosis. No clinical diagnosis is required to join. And now, you're listening to the next episode of ADHD Babes, the podcast.
Hi, and welcome back to a new episode of ADHD Babes, the podcast. Today's episode is hosted by me, Jules, and we're going to be discussing time perception, how warped time perception can impact our lives, times where it's been a help, and times when it's been a hindrance. Joining me on the discussion is our ADHD Babes podcast director, Shauna. So you know it's going to be a great chat. So what is time perception in relation to ADHD, you ask? So it's more commonly known as time blindness, but we of course want to be sensitive to our blind siblings because why have they always got to be brought into this? Time perception is a better term as it speaks to awareness, comprehension, interpretation, and perspective. So people with ADHD and other neurodevelopmental conditions can perceive time passing differently from the average person or differently from the Western ideas of time. Other common descriptions include time slipping away and difficulty estimating how long tasks take. So, Shauna, let's chat. Let's really chat. Do you know of any sort of examples, any experiences of how this might manifest or has manifested in real life for you?
Oh, where do I start?
Yeah.
For me, I've always had a difficulty in estimating how much time has passed. So that could be just in general. I might just be sitting down, like kind of writing a script. And it might feel like I've been doing that for an hour, or it could feel like I've been doing it for 5 minutes, and the opposite is true. So, especially when you're hyper-focusing, when you're in on something, you feel like it's been 5 minutes, but
Yeah.
yet it's been 2 hours. But it also might feel like when I'm really struggling to focus on something, it might feel like it's been an hour, but actually it's only been 5 minutes. So I feel like I experience them both in different states of being. I definitely feel like I always underestimate how long it takes me to get dressed, which then can like kind of domino effect to then be like, okay, I'm late, which is like why I like driving everywhere because I miss so many trains because I never estimate that, right? Yeah, I think that's probably my main. Yeah, definitely don't like that example of whenever you're like time slipping away or estimating how long it takes to do a task as well. Like, we were talking, I think, on a different episode recently about how you might think like a task might only take 2 minutes, but actually in my head, it takes longer than 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And there's nothing that you can convince me to say that doesn't take 2 minutes, even though I know I've done it in 2 minutes. So it kind of was like, oh, that's going to be long. I can't do that task because it's going to be long. And actually, it's just 2 minutes or it's just 15 minutes. Like it's not actually that long. So I think those are probably examples that happen quite frequently to me, especially in the perception of like how long it takes to get dressed.
I so relate, and it's so interesting because it's got me thinking about times, other like sort of like my time perception when it comes to things, and similar to you, with like getting dressed. or thinking, oh, you have a outfit in your head, so it's going to be quite easy to just do it in 5 minutes. And lo and
Mm.
behold, 20 minutes has gone by and you're like, crap, when did 20 minutes go? I thought it was going to take me 5 minutes because I have the fit in my head. And it's just like, how? Um, one other thing for me, like similar to like just like sort of daily living stuff is uh, like doing my makeup. And I'm not necessarily like a heavy makeup user, and that isn't to say like, beating the face down to the guards is a bad thing. But I always think that, oh yeah, it's gonna take me roughly about half an hour to do my makeup. Girl, I'll be sitting in there, I'll be doing my makeup up to an hour, and I'll be like, what? And all I'm doing is lining up my brows, doing up concealer, maybe doing a little bit of, liner and lashes, and it's taken me a whole hour. But because I thought in my head it's going to take me 30 minutes, it just goes on. It's like, it's going back to kind of like the over and underestimating
Mm.
how long a task will take. And I also think that, like, when I look at the clock, when I see 5 minutes, I feel like 5 minutes is like, I don't know if it's like a mental cognitive sort of thing, but 5 minutes feels like 5 seconds.
Mm. Have you ever tried those that kind of task where you have to kind of like press a button or stop the timer, whatever it is, when it's passed and like it's been a minute? So kind of sit down and you kind of go, okay, when it's been a minute, you press the timer and you see how close it is to a minute that you pressed it.
Yeah. So not
I feel
necessarily like a game, but I feel like I know what you're saying, because it feels like it's like a competition. So immediately you're sort of, it's similar to like the dopamine sort of like hit of like, oh, you know that you have a task, so you have this added pressure of getting to the deadline. So the fact that you have to press the timer at this certain time, but
that is not where I was going, but
okay,
that is
sorry.
totally a good idea. Like I'm like thinking, oh, I should do that. No, I just mean like in terms of like to try and gauge how you perceive time. You
Oh,
actually
okay.
have 60 seconds, but you can't see 60 seconds going. So therefore, it's like, okay, estimate, press this stopwatch when you think it's been 60 seconds.
Oh, I've never tried that. That's actually a good one.
Do you know, I think that's what made me realize how bad my time perception was, because I was either really close, it might have been like 30 seconds and I thought it'd be a minute, or I was way over and it'd been like 2 minutes, but usually the other way around, like it usually was like 30 seconds and I thought it'd been over a minute.
Hmm.
And it's that kind of issue with perceiving time, with that
Yeah.
you really note it, like you really note that actually you're not perceiving time like it is. Like I can't say it's been 10 minutes. I don't know how long it's actually been.
Yeah. And you've even got me thinking of something else in regards to it. It takes me back to a Friends episode, very random, I know, where Ross is like, oh, are we counting one Mississippi or two Mississippi or three Mississippi? And, somebody else is like, no, I just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's what it feels like, how I perceive time, because it's just like, I don't necessarily count like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm more of a one Mississippi, two
Yeah.
Mississippi, three Mississippi sort of counting time. So it's gonna be completely different to somebody who does count like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or like can see like 60 seconds in 10-second increments, whereas
Mm.
60 seconds feels like 60 seconds in my head. I'm not looking at it in breaking it down 10 seconds in six slots. Anyways,
I
I
hear you. I hear you. I'm with you.
don't. So it goes back to the notion. Other examples that probably a lot of our babes who are listening would have is, you know, the feeling like, because you get a taxi and a fast train to work, it will take you like 25 minutes when actually the trip is closer to 40 minutes. But because you think, oh yeah, I've taken I've taken a vehicle that feels that it will take me there quicker. So it's going to potentially take me half the time if I just took public transport completely and realize actually, no, it's still going to take time. Um,
And
another
sometimes
example,
you don't estimate traffic.
or even waiting time to get the taxi.
Oh.
Because I think I calculate time from the moment I get into the taxi and I will still be in my house. It's just like, yeah, it's going to take me 10 minutes. I'm still in my house and I haven't even gone on to Uber to like book the taxi
And,
and they
and
keep
then
me waiting.
they don't confirm straight away. They're like, oh,
It
you've
might
got a
take
driver. No,
6
we
minutes.
don't. You've got a
Innit?
driver. No, we don't.
And then when you get the driver, 6 minutes where you go, damn it, I'm supposed to be there in like 4 minutes later. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
We haven't calculated it. Another example is estimating a task, which you also said, which would take much longer than it does, and putting it off over again and again. But when you finally actually get round to doing it, it's much quicker than anticipated. And the interesting thing is that a warped time perception can lead to procrastination. Another thing that also plays a major role is executive functions. So things like working memory, planning, and attention are tightly linked to time perception. So when it comes to ADHD related, executive dysfunction can really impair the ability to self-monitor time. So Shauna, got some other questions for you. How does how does this affect a person's day-to-day life?
Definitely is going to be the whole time management, like prospect of things. Because if you think about meeting deadlines or due dates, we're kind of built to leave things to the last minute, and you might go, "Oh, I can do that in one evening." And a
Mm.
natural, you needed a week. Do you know what I mean? You needed a week, and so then that means that you might miss your deadline. That's happened to me so many times. Or you might plan out your day and you don't get as much done in that day because you didn't actually look at you didn't think about exactly how long that is going to take either. But I think for me, also planning is something that I always have to double check, because for me, something it has to be broken down in all of its steps, but I will miss steps if I don't physically write it down and
Mm.
like see the steps. So if I'm just in my head and I'm going, okay, well, I need to leave the house by 12 and I have to shower, get dressed, iron, eat breakfast, and do my makeup. If I haven't physically gone, okay, this is going to take some time, and left some contingency for all of those times,
Mm.
I'll be late.
And that's so
I
interesting.
will
You
be
said
late.
about contingencies. I don't even think about contingencies. I'm just like, yeah, I think I'll get it done in this time.
I never said I was good at it.
I love it. Honesty. She said, I tried to put the time in. It don't mean I'll be doing it.
Do you know what it is as well? I have that, like, I'm afflicted by, I don't like to be like ready and just waiting around.
Ain't that the truth? And that's so interesting because I also think that links to the ADHD impatientness. Because let me
I'm like,
tell you, if I'm ready, I'm expecting everyone to be ready. Do you know how difficult it is for me to be doing this in time? And I'm still the first person to be ready. What?
I completely agree though. Like, why am I waiting for you? Or even if I'm like, okay, I'll meet you at this time, but I'm ready now, so therefore let's
Can we
just
not
meet
meet
now.
now?
But I'm like, I haven't got time to be waiting for you.
Come on, we're here. Let's do it. um, so other things, I also think that really affects kind of like day to day sort of task and everything is definitely, I think you also mentioned it, chronic lateness, um, being late. I think something I've always been like, I feel guilty. It's not like we don't feel guilty. I definitely feel guilty. And there's been times where I've been like, oh yeah, I'm gonna definitely get there on time and not consider traffic, the time in which to travel, rush hour, and I can look at Google Maps all the time, but somehow Google Maps still don't be telling me there's traffic. Um, and then I'm running late, and then I'm now trying to sneak at the back, like, oh, sorry, um, and stuff. So it's oh god, the amount of times I've had to say, oh my god, I'm so sorry, guys, I'm sorry. And then also just like again, like you said, managing time, and it could be just even like the bare minimum of booking appointments, and sort of thinking, yeah, it's going to take me about half an hour to get there, and realizing it's not going to take half an hour, or thinking an appointment is going to be 20 minutes and it ends up being an hour, and you thought it was going to be 20 minutes. I also think, like, I don't know if this happens for you, but when I sort of have an estimation of how long something is going to be and it's longer than it is, do you get upset?
Yeah.
I do as well. So
I'm
what the hell
like,
is
now everything's all like all over the place, and then I'm like, I
right?
never leave extra space. I never leave extra space. Everything is back to back to back to back. So when it overlaps, I'm just like,
And then you kind of think, I don't have no time to breathe because you. It's always blaming the people then. You
but
didn't tell
I've
me what this
I've
one was going to take.
I've also come to like realize that I have to leave time for chatting,
Oh, yeah, I know what you mean. I think it also,
especially when
yeah, go on.
especially when we're working with babes because we all got the chatty thing.
Let me tell you, we really do. We really do. Don't book something back to back, or if you are going to book something back to back, just say, "Look, guys, I've got to go." Even
Mm,
then, saying I've got to go, you're just like, "Oh no, I'm going to miss out on the juicy chat."
yeah, I definitely have FOMO.
Yeah, but yeah,
Definitely.
the whole, I think the whole appointment stuff, or not anticipating how long you're going to be somewhere. Oh god, that really sets me going. Um, sets me going. Does that even make sense? No, it doesn't.
Sets
It
you up.
sets me off.
Sets.
There we go. I just combined two statements into one.
Yeah,
Um,
I do that all the time.
so what's the real impact on productivity and mental health? So time perception challenges can really increase anxiety, stress, and the feelings of overwhelm, as well as the vicious cycle of poor time estimation, leading to missed deadlines and low self-esteem. Now, it's not all doom. And over here, we'd like to look at the importance of how our unique perspective can help us and guide us through as well. A warped time perception can help us block out everything and hyper focus in on one task, and getting totally absorbed into the activity can also helpful in certain situations. So, Shauna, what has been some helpful strategies and interventions that has helped with time perception for you?
Visible clocks.
Mm,
Visible, like it has to be in my face, like on the wall. My phone is not enough
mm,
for visually seeing the time. Like I have to have a clock on the wall. I have to be able to see the time
mm.
at a glance. If I press a button or I open my phone, that means I'm too busy distracted by something else. So I just need like a clock on the wall, on the side, whatever, like a physical time. Um, Also, alarms. So I like to try to, set a timer, be like, okay, it's been an alarm. As I always do. I also, on my smartwatch, I have it set to alert me if I haven't moved for an hour. So I get a little vibration telling me to get up and move about every hour
I
if I
get that
haven't
too.
moved for an hour. Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
get that too.
that's been really
I don't be
helpful.
listening, but sometimes I do.
Not always. Yeah, 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 yeah. But I do like the little dopamine hit I get when it goes, oh, well done, you got up.
Yeah, yeah. Did you? It's like, yay me!
I did it.
I did the bare minimum.
But yeah, definitely alarms. I found like using like making sure that I plan my time. So I use an AI diary which I kind of use to help plan my tasks for me into time blocks that I've
Hmm.
set. So I've blocked out when I can do things and then I plan um the task that I do and I say fit it into this time block and it will say, okay, do this, do that, do that. Again, don't always listen to it, but it kind of keeps me accountable because it's like you haven't done this task or this is how much time has been allocated for that task because this is how much time you said you needed, or I will get it to break it up into blocks, so it's like, no, you've only allocated this time for this block, you can do that block another time. um so yeah, time blocking and actually adjusting, like going, did this actually take that time? That I'm still, I'm not saying that I'm the best at all of these because I still am chronically like late and stuff like that. But it has improved in certain situations, especially with um, the increasing amount of life admin and work admin that you have to do. It would kind
Mm.
of be like, okay, this is overdue, or this is getting close to deadline, or you said that you had to do this by this time. But also it's taking away a task for me, which kind of decreases that anxiety, um, because I've got it to tell me what to do. So I'm getting things done by not actually having to think about what it's, because I'm just like, this is what I have to do. This is how much time it will take. This is when it needs to be completed by, and this is the priority that it has. And then it kind of fills in my diary for me. So that's also kind of taken away some of the stress that I kind of get. The last one is actually my anxiety has played in my favor instead of against me because I also don't like being late, even though I'm late. So the
Mm.
anxiety of being late makes me be on time or at least
Time.
early sometimes. It's not always, it doesn't always work, but I found like the more anxiety I've gotten about being late, the more I've actually been there on
Been on
time.
time.
Yeah. And I also kind of use people around me, like my mum or just anyone, my friends, to be like, okay, this is what I'm gonna do, and I'll be like, this is when I'm gonna leave, and this is when I'm gonna do this, and they'll be like, oh, you haven't thought about this, you haven't thought about that, and I'll adjust it. So I use other people to help me make sure that I'm actually allocating enough time for the task.
I love that. Yeah, everything you said, I echo. And recently, it's got me thinking about recently what I've been trying to do because I'm trying to be, more health conscious and being mindful and making sure I'm eating. Because that's also another thing that I struggle with is eating or trying to eat 3 meals a day and making sure it's healthy. So I've been really doing the timer and alarm things. And whilst we were just recording, my alarm went off for dinner. To quickly.
Every single little thing is planned. Like sometimes got to the point where it was like in the morning, my routine was pointing out to the T. It would be timer to wake up, a contingency for me not waking up because that's not happening the first alarm, and then it was workout. That timer went off to work out. Then it was literally like get in the shower. That timer went off to finish in the shower. Brush your teeth. That timer. Make breakfast. It literally was broken down into mini time.
Yeah. And sometimes it has to be like that for us, honestly. And some people might just think, oh my God, that just sounds really rigid and insane. And that isn't to say us, because again, us ADHD babes, we're impulsive. So sometimes we're just like, oh, I don't like this routine. Why have I got a routine? And immediately we're cancelling all the alarms. We're literally off. One
And I feel
alarm
that.
could just piss us off, and it's just like off with all of them. What do you mean? You're telling me to
Oh.
eat dinner? What do you mean you're telling me to eat breakfast? Yeah, off you go. And that's really real. But I've just found it helpful in the fact that it just jerks me up to be like, okay, I need to do this. Stop whatever I'm doing. And that isn't to
Mm.
say that I would stop what I'm doing in that very moment. And I think I also love the fact that I can snooze for 7 minutes. So it will remind me again. Um, which is also quite helpful. There's been times where I've probably snoozed the alarm 3 or 4 times, but
I literally wake up every morning and it says this alarm missed. I didn't snooze it. I just slept right through it.
Just, it got to a point where it's just like this girl ain't waking up.
There's another thing that I've thought about, the alarms actually talking about that, is using smartwatches to give you non audible alarms. So what's been making me get up earlier is when I remember to wear my watch to bed, it will, before my audio alarm goes off, like it makes noise, it
Yeah.
like vibrates really, really softly on my wrist. And it's
Okay.
kind of like a soft wake up.
A softer wake up, yeah.
Yeah, but it wakes me up, so it actually does the trick because it's like vibrating on my wrist. And yeah, it's a bit easy to turn off because I can just go and it's
Yeah.
off. But using like vibrations instead of noises
Yeah.
really works for me.
It's also it can be a sensory thing, so it depends on what senses or what particularly works for you. And
Mm.
the fact that, something like a gentle vibrate is perfect. And other things that I sort of think about, the clock thing, when you said the clocking, you need to see a clock. Story of my life.
Mm-hmm.
I got a clock in my bedroom. I live in a flat, just a flat. Everything is in one vicinity. I have to have the clock correct on the microwave, the clock correct on the oven, the clock correct in the other room.
Have you ever used it going into like summertime where the clocks go forward, where you just don't put your clocks forward?
I used to be like that. And that was mainly because I didn't know how to change the clocks on the microwave. Or I was just like, I can't bring myself to learn this new thing. But after a while, it used to really bug me because I was just like, this is not the time. And so I was like, no, I have to actively change the time. And there's been 2 separate occasions in my flat where we've lost power on the whole street. And when you lose power, everything just jiggles and jolts
Resets.
and
Mm-hmm.
resets. It happened twice. I was like, I can't remember how to do this. So I have to sit there, like pressing the button like bare times. Oh,
I
I've missed
can't
the
have it
time.
flashing at me. No.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the worst.
And when
Missing
you
the
miss the
time.
time and you're just like, oh, now I've got to go back to the beginning. Oh, do I want it to be a 12-hour clock or 24-hour clock?
It's like, am I gonna know it's the morning or
The
evening?
morning or the evening. How long did I know? But yeah, no, I heavily resonate with the having the clocks everywhere and the fact that the phone isn't enough, and just being able to visually see the time. And you had me thinking about, like you said, the routines and the alarms, and because obviously how I'm a freelancer, so I don't even like have a regular 9 to 5. So it has been difficult for me to create routine, and now I'm trying to create routine. And at the moment it's a nice feeling because I'm like, oh, I feel organized, and and it's quite nice to be able to like, oh, I have to get up and do something and not just lie in bed and just be on vibes.
Are you
Because
ever
most of the
like
time it is
just
vibe.
and are you ever like kind of sitting there going, how long is this gonna last? Like how long am I gonna be able to keep up with this routine?
Yeah, and bless, because I get so excited sharing this stuff, and particularly with my siblings, and they just kind of, I know it's with love. And they're like, yeah, sure, Juliana, sure, Jules, yeah. Because they know in 2 weeks' time I'm going to be like, so Julie,
Over it.
how's that thing going? Oh yeah, no, I'm not doing that no more. Yeah, I'm over that. And they were like, yeah,
I've got, and then what's worse is that we get so excited about things that we do and we want to tell everybody about the things that we're doing. And then I'm like, Shauna, just shut up and do it. And I'm like, no, I have to tell everybody that I plan to do this thing or I'm just started doing this thing. And then like, how's that thing? And like, yeah, I'm not doing it anymore.
and it feels like it's a new discovery. Like, let me tell you this new way of life that I'm doing. You got to know. You gotta know about this. And my siblings are looking at me like, okay.
Like, did you not know? Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
Have you tried this? And they're like,
we'll wait
that.
till next week. She'll have a different story for us about, well, what happened was That is literally my mantra for life. What had
What has
happened
happened?
was, because it's always been like, oh, so Jules, what's happening with that thing? Well, that's
I,
literally my life.
I don't know if you experience this as well, but like when I fall out of a routine and I feel the need to kind of explain why I have that difficulty in falling out of that routine, but I feel
Mm,
like some people just feel like you're making an excuse. But I'm not
yeah,
making an excuse. I'm making a statement.
yeah.
I'm telling you what I felt. I'm not making it. I'm not saying, I'm not trying to be like, oh, yeah, but this, like that, all that. Like the other day, I said, oh, I've fallen out of the routine of taking my vitamins.
Mm.
And it got to the point where I'd used them all up. And I said, oh, it's that thing where you kind of like have to start again. So you have to spend a lot of money to get all of the vitamins. And they were like, yeah, but you have to do it. And I'm like, yeah, I know. But you're not understanding that's a put off to me because I'm like, okay, I have to organize getting everything all out.
It's the thing of us like visualizing the task, because again, someone who is neurotypical would see that as a thing like they can just easily do. But for
Mm.
us, it's not only just about ordering the supplements or the vitamin. It's about, I don't know about you, but I'm always kind of like, oh no, I feel like I can find like a different deal. And then I enter
Always
a
the
rabbit
deals.
hole of like, oh, I'm gonna buy vitamin C from there, and oh, Amazon is doing vitamin D in the oral spray for cheaper, so I'm gonna buy it there.
Oh, they do oral spray? Oh, don't
Yeah,
even
for
know.
vitamin.
Ignore me.
You see,
Ignore.
I'm just opening a rabbit hole, and that's the sort of rabbit hole that I go under. Like, it's not just like, oh, just putting everything in one basket. It's about,
Mm.
where can I get it somewhere else? Or like, I've got to list all the vitamins that I need to get, what's worked, and maybe if I want to do something different. So it's not even like it's a straightforward, let me just click in my basket
And
and buy.
And then you've got to research whether or not you're overdoing it with the vitamins and whether or not you're going to end up cancelling out some vitamins because you're taking too many of the same vitamin or something like that. I need to know if there's going to be any clashes.
Yeah. And it is that, and it takes us forever, and we're just like, nah, do you know what? I'd rather not. Or
And in
eventually,
all of this could have taken 5 minutes of just going to the supermarket or Amazon or wherever you buy your Holland and Barrett's or
yeah,
wherever, and putting them all in your basket and pressing checkout could have taken you 5 minutes. Has now taken me 3 days
yeah.
or
Or even
3 weeks.
sometimes a whole month.
Longer. I was gonna say
Yeah.
3 months.
When you realize, when you're just like, oh, I feel a bit fatigued. I don't know what's going
Yeah,
on.
yeah,
Oh, it's you're lacking that vitamin that you were
yeah,
supposed to buy from like
yeah.
6 months ago. It's so
Too
real.
true, too true, too
Oh,
real.
it's so real. And it just has me thinking about just like all the different things. And like, I think what I'm sort of learning, and kind of going back, and we'll circle back, is giving ourselves grace, and not pressure, like adding pressure onto ourselves to be able to do certain things. Because the reality is that, if it wasn't for capitalism, our perception of time may not have had such a negative effect on our lives. So, again, it's just giving yourself grace, knowing how you work and
Mm,
understanding yourself, and being like, okay, I can't do the routine today, or I've lost track of time with that. Rather than overwhelm myself with it, let me just take a moment. Let me take a, that's all. I have this thing of like, this tomorrow. Do you know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
And if it isn't tomorrow, there's the next day. But at some point, it is kind of like, I think sometimes we're so hard on ourselves that when we miss a particular thing, it feels like we're punishing ourselves for not being able to do that routine. So it now becomes a punishment or a sense of failure, um, because I wasn't able to complete that task or be somewhere on time and stuff.
Mm,
Um, and like we also mentioned, other tips as well is, like we said, you know, alarms, timers, planners. Let me tell you, not even back in my day, because I'm
Oh,
still young, baby.
all
I'm
right,
still young.
Granny.
But I used to be somebody who loved having a physical diary. Um, and every single year, just before the end of the previous year, I've got my new little cute little, diary where I can put all my stuff in it.
Mm.
Now I've sort of switched over to, the iPhone calendar and Google Calendar and stuff like that. But it got me thinking about planners, like putting together schedules, reminders, being mindful as well. We love a bit of mindfulness, you know what I mean? Um, but as well as setting regular routines, but also understanding that these tools will likely need to be rotated in on a regular basis. So again, that's a thing that we can get so bored of a routine. So sometimes we need to kind of like shake the table a little bit and throw in something else and be like, oh, this feels different. Um,
I feel like sometimes the seasons as well, because I'm really affected by the winter in a way that I'm not in the summer, obviously with the darkness. So maybe like just having like a summer routine and a winter routine
mm,
or a spring, you can break it into quarters if you like, you know?
and you know us, we love a little gamey. I don't know about you, but like it has to feel. And I saw this thing. It goes down to something I saw a TikTok video where um an individual who has ADHD really struggled with doing certain tasks. And I know, like, we're kind of drifting, but I'm circling back. Um, I'm circling back. Where they struggled with doing sort of daily tasks in the home, and their partner um, sort of used this tool where they created post-it notes, and on the post-it notes was like, "Wash the dishes and you'll get 5 points," and it became a game, and I feel like that really works. Um,
Yeah,
like,
streaks.
yeah, it's the streaks thing. It's the thing of like feeling challenged, but it's not like and not in a bad way, but feeling like, oh my god, I'm playing a game and it's like I get to do stuff and I get points, um,
Yeah. I
and stuff.
think you've just reminded me, like, just even if without somebody else, that you can, like, if you are timing what you're doing in order to see how long it takes, trying to see if you can do it quicker.
Yo, I'm doing that with eating my meals because
No,
that's another
don't
thing.
rush don't rush
Oh
your
no, no, no.
eating.
Do you know? And my sister said the same thing, but it's not. It's not necessarily to do with rushing. For me, I'm a grazer, so I graze my food and I don't sit and eat in one sitting because I get so distracted. So I will take maybe 2 bites, leave it, come back 10 minutes later, and I just want to be able to remain focused. So I have to put a timer. So the time I put for myself is 25 minutes. And it's not even like I'm like, I've got to finish the meal in 10 minutes. Because then obviously indigestion, don't want that. But I've just find it helpful that it's grounded me to know that I have a timer and this is my focus and this is what I have to do within this time frame. And what I've noticed is that I've been able to sit in one sitting and actually finish my meal, knowing that I have a timer. Um,
Oh,
that
okay.
I
Interesting, interesting.
have to abide by because again, it is kind of like beating the timer before it goes off. Um,
Mm.
and it could be even 24 minutes and 5 seconds. I'm like, do you know what? Ding, 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 finish my meal. And in time. Um,
Did you too?
I inhale that shit. Literally, gotta inhale the meal. No,
Oh my gosh.
I do not recommend that. But no, I eat it within the time frame, and I eat it like within the speed that works for me. But it was just to help the sort of like the grazing sort of thing that I was just constantly doing and leaving food. And my mum always used to get so upset with me. She's like, just leaving your food out for the germs. I'm like, no, I'm gonna come back and eat it. She used to hate when I put food in the microwave because I used to be like, I'm gonna come back to it. that really irritated my mum
Oh
so
my God.
much.
Do you know how many times I put my coffee in the microwave? I made a whole cup of coffee this morning, and 3 hours later, I realized I hadn't had a sip.
It's so crazy, like, just stuff, like, they're like, "Oh, yeah," because, again, it just feels like there's just loads of stuff going on in the
Mm.
brain, and to be able to kind of, like, add that extra thing, sometimes you just forget about it. Um, so yeah, circling back, other strategies as well is ADHD medication, ADHD coaching, which also may help with time perception. And finally, like I mentioned, mindfulness and metacognitive strategies also help with improving awareness of time passing. So let's quickly recap. One thing you have learnt today and something you have found really interesting, Shauna.
Definitely the whole breaking things into like rotating your routines on a regular basis.
Mm,
Because I think I always get really annoyed because a routine doesn't last longer than a few months,
mm,
and then I'm quickly out of it, and then I try to do that exact same routine, and nothing I can do will make me stick to that routine again. So I think for me, I was like, okay, yeah, rotating it might be like I might be able to go back to routine if I've rotated it before I've got bored of it.
mm. And I also like the fact
Um,
that you mentioned about breaking it down in seasons.
mm, yeah, yeah, definitely, because I feel like um, one thing I would also add to that is also breaking it, if you have a cycle, then matching your cycle. So like certain routines are going to work at certain
Mm,
times of the month better than they would at different times in the month. So maybe kind of like going, okay, well, I know this is a time where I'm on my period or whatever, so therefore these routines are not going to work. So I'm going to cut all of this out and I'm just going to do this, this, and this,
yeah.
and reduce that might work as well. So yeah, I feel like that is something that I'm like, okay, I didn't really think about just kind of planning to change my routine so that I don't get bored of
Mm,
it. Definitely something I'm going to take away. But yeah, loved kind of that I'm not the only one who has to have the physical see or even break down my day to the point where I'm like, no, literally every little task has to be timed and put onto a planner in order for me to get through it.
mm.
Um, yeah, I think that's what my most interesting things from today's convo is.
So there's some great gems there. And thank you so much for joining us again, Shauna. It's always been a pleasure. Um,
Always.
to our babes and allies, let us know if today's episode was informative or helpful, and share how you will practice self acceptance going forward. If you'd like to join ADHD Babes or learn more, you will find the links to our website and social pages in the show notes, as well as visiting ADHDBabes.com. Also, we are now on YouTube. So if you are a visual babe and want to see our lovely faces, head over to our YouTube page, which is ADHD Babes, where we have all our release podcast episodes. Click subscribe and turn on your notifications so you're first to know when we drop a new episode. And of course, share, like, and comment. Let's build our babes community over on YouTube. Thanks again for listening. I've been Jules, and catch you next time. Bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of ADHD Babes, the podcast. If you're a black woman or non-binary person and need help and support in managing your ADHD or advice on diagnosis, please visit ADHDBabes.com. No clinical diagnosis is required to join. Join us in 2 weeks for a new episode. Until then, all the love from the ADHD Babes team.
Just as I am, can you take me